There you go. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for the homemade self-care products. My name is Yulisa. I go by she, her pronouns. I will be the moderator for today. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat, and I will say them out loud for you. And Sherry can take it from here.
Bishabel Inkaba Eshara Nieto. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, or good morning, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Shara Nieto, and I am a Chicana from LA, of Yucatec Maya heritage on my mother's side. And my father is from Chihuahua, land of the Raramuri, also known as the Tarahumara people. And I'm coming to you from my home in the traditional lands of the O'odham, Peepash, and Maricopa people, also known as Phoenix, Arizona. So it's really good to be here with everyone today. Would love to know where you're joining us from, and maybe tell us, I just asked if anybody else had taken another one of the workshops that Tia Chuchas hosted this weekend. So I welcome you to participate. If you feel comfortable putting on your cameras, I'd love to see you guys. Marta, it's good to see you and your little one there. See Lali, thank you. Mari, yeah, so pop it in the chat, take a moment. I'm, not in LA, not near Tia Chucha, Sylmar, nice. Any other people from Sylmar? I suspect most of us are calling in from California, more Sylmar. Great. Well, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for joining us again today. I am very thankful for this opportunity to present to you guys tonight and for the fact that you came today. We got some Reseda, Los Angeles County, nice. Thank you so much for continuing to add that. I know it takes a while to sometimes get back onto that typing and chatting and whatnot. So gracias a Tia Chuchas. Thank you, Tia Chuchas, for hosting this event this weekend and supporting literacy in our communities and inviting me to be a part of this evening's program. I grew up in, the piñata making, thank you, and the embroidery, nice. I want to see those piñatas. Hopefully we have time in the end to share some of that. Oh, a few of you took the piñata, nice. I'll have to check out those videos too. I'm super interested in the gourd making one specifically, and the author as well, the author reading. So I was telling you guys that it's been really neat to grow up in California. You need the watercolors and see the work of Tia Chuchas come to life. I went to a few events in college and I've just kind of kept it on my radar throughout the years and always love to support local bookstores, especially Latino-owned businesses and bookstores. And I just love books, right? I'm kind of a book junkie nerd like that. And so for me, I was first introduced to the work of Luis through, of course, Always Running, because I grew up in Southgate. So it was so nice for me as a young person to have that shout out for the first time in my life, to see myself reflected in a book and for our communities to be acknowledged in that way. I just didn't realize that that was possible until that moment. So it was interesting, although I didn't live that lifestyle, just the calling out of Southgate and the tracks and the place that I knew made me feel seen. So I just really appreciate that. And that's really stuck with me. So for me, I always wanted to get involved with the Chuchas in some way. And the pandemic has allowed an opportunity for more virtual engagements, which I think has been really nice for me to be able to connect with the Chuchas in this way, considering that I don't live in California anymore. And it would be really hard for me to have to go over there to host something like this. But I'm happy to do this. I'm happy you're all here tonight. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun making these self-care products tonight that I'm going to tell you a little bit more about. So I would love to know why you all decided to join today. So if you can pop it in the chat, tell us why, what inspired you to join us, to give us part of your Saturday evening, to be here with us today. Let's see what folks have to say. So while people think about that and put in why they decided to join us, today, these natural self-care products are going to be made at a fraction of the cost of what you would buy them at the store. And they make really great gifts. So I hope that you'll take whatever you learned today and continue to do it more and more, and other things as well. So let's see, inspired to join today because I love doing crafts. Yay, and making things, learn something new, self-care. Yes. I like trying new things, a great way to bond. Yay. I do this with my daughter all the time and enjoy some self-care. And that's really important, I think, because you're teaching self-care through doing this together, and that practice is so important and is going to be helpful for your daughter for years to come, and her children, if she ever decides to have any, right? I wanted to try more natural products that I can make myself, and engaging in self-care is always fun. Absolutely. So I'm going to show you some examples of what we're going to make today. You saw the image, the photo. This was it that was there. This is the Epsom salt, and this one in particular has roses, so it smells really good. So we're going to do one of these. If you picked up your packet at the Achuchas, you should have the materials for this. We're going to use some Epsom salt and some rose, or if you have lavender, you can use that. Whatever sort of hierbas and herbs you have at home that you want to put in a bath. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make a sugar scrub. So this is an example of one of the sugar scrubs that I made not too long ago, and it smells really good. It's the coconut oil, and it's the sugar. It doesn't have much more in there, but if you wanted to throw, some essential oils to give it a different fragrance, more vanilla, or any other sort of, sometimes you use orange and stuff like that. Whatever sort of fragrance you like, you could do that if you have essential oils at home. And then finally, we're going to make a body mist. So we will go through all of these things in this evening. It probably won't take 2 hours, will probably be more like an hour and a half. So if you have somewhere to be, you have an idea of how to plan. So a little bit more about me. I grew up in Southgate. I'm an Aztec dancer. I'm a mom also, and I'm an artist, I'm a teacher, and I'm just someone who also likes to craft, right? Who likes to do art, who likes to try new things. And I'm just always kind of experimenting, I guess. I'm a learner at heart. So this is one of those things that I learned through the pandemic. I suddenly got furloughed when everything started happening in March. And I just, found myself with idle time to do whatever I wanted to do, right? So my daughter was in school and she was doing the online thing, but I couldn't be a helicopter parent the whole time. And I had to figure out, what am I going to do? What do I want to do with this time? So of course, like everybody, I baked, I cooked, I cleaned my house, I caught up on things, and I just did a whole bunch of things I hadn't had a chance to do while I was working full time, being a parent and taking care of my family. So one of the things I had an opportunity to do was explore these things I always wanted to do and was interested in, but didn't really have time to do. So I'm really thankful, to that opportunity that I was able to have, because I was at home, right? We were all kind of quarantining at home. So, and the other thing is during the pandemic, I started making so much of this that I started to share it with my friends and my family. So I started to send out little care packages to folks. And I think that people really welcome those things, because I think of all that was going on in the world. And for me personally, I know like a lot of my family says, oh, you should sell it, you should do this, you should do that with it, farmers market. And I don't know that I necessarily want to do that with the products that I make, because I make them with so much love for myself or for my family that I wouldn't ever want that feeling to change for me personally and have it become a business and something that's stressful or something that I might end up resenting. So I really did it because it makes me feel good, right? When I'm sitting here working with the lavender, especially, lavender is calming, right? For me personally. And I really like the aroma and how I feel when I'm doing this. So hopefully you'll get some of that feeling as well when you're working with us tonight. The other thing is, if you didn't pick up a packet at Tia Chucha's, many of the things that we're going to be utilizing tonight are things that are found in your kitchen cabinet. So as we're doing this together tonight, you can go grab more of anything, or, you know, pull together these supplies to be able to do most of the things we're doing today. So the final thing that I realized from doing these self-care products is that, you know, I didn't lose anyone from my family through the pandemic as of yet, but I did lose a coworker, and I did lose my job all of a sudden. So I think there was a lot going on with BLM and everything that was happening, and I felt like a sense of grief, right? And for no reason, but also for many reasons, for everything that was going on. And I feel like this was something that really allowed me to process that grief and to be able to take care of myself, to nourish myself. So, you know, I encourage you guys to find those things that nourish your soul and help you take care of yourself. And with that, I would love to hear from you all in the chat. How do you take care of yourself? What are the things that you do in your life for self-care? And if you're having a hard time answering this, well, I think this is a good start, right? Being here tonight and doing this for yourself, hopefully. Nap, hike, and play with my babies. Yes, I do the same things. And it's nice that my family allows me to nap, and I go hiking by myself. If nobody comes with me, I'm still gonna go. So those are really wonderful things to be able to do. Anybody else got something? How do you take care of yourself? I have a really good hike story in the meantime. Meditate, yes, and play with my fur baby. Eat healthy, absolutely. So important what we put in our bodies, right? Make sure I drink enough water. Yes, thank you. Let's all drink some more water. Hanging out at the beach, reading, coloring, walks with my puppy. Yes, thank you for sharing that with us. I got some new ideas there, right? Before I continue, I'm going to tell you a really important, well, funny story, but I think it is important also, like the whole connection to nature. Listen to my favorite music, art, school. Yes. Grounding ourselves in nature really helps and being outdoors, help play with Barbies, yes. Helps us to stay healthy, right? Grounded and connected, taking walks. So during the pandemic, my daughter was in online school all day, every day, 8 a.m. to like 3:30. Plus she was doing schoolwork after school. Sophia, you might know something about this. And you know, it was really hard on her as a young person having to be online all day long, as many of us have probably experienced as well. And one day she was like, Mom, can I watch TV? I'm done with my homework. And I was like, no, let's go take a walk. And she did not want to go for a walk. And she was like very upset with me. She's like, I don't want to go. She was crying. She was like, I don't know, acting like I was the most horrible parent in the world. And I was like, you know, it's okay if you feel this way, but I want you to just come on this walk. It's going to be a short walk, and then let's see how you feel in a few minutes. So we hiked for about 15 minutes, and then we stop a lot when we're with her because she likes to stop and take breaks and drink water. And all of a sudden she's happy, she's eating her snacks, and she's having a good time. And I said, hey, do you still feel miserable? Like you hate hiking and you don't want to do this? She's like, no, I feel good, right? And I was like, remember that, because you didn't want to come, you were feeling miserable, and now we're here and you're feeling really good, right? And I think that was a life lesson, right, that we were able to teach her, and hopefully that stays with her for a very long time. And you know, all this to say that finding those things that are healthy for us, that make us feel good, is so important throughout our lives, right? Because you can find a whole other bunch of things that aren't necessarily that good for us that help us kind of de-stress and unwind, but aren't as healthy as maybe eating healthy, taking a nap, playing with your puppy, or going on a walk, right? So just a reminder to us all to take care of ourselves, especially during this time. And we'll start with today, right? All right. So I first learned how to make these products through my former supervisor at the Native American Health Center, Crystal Salas. And we ran a youth program there. And she says, you know, why don't we do a self-care night for the kids? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, self-care products, you know, why buy all those spritzes at the stores in the mall that we don't know all of the chemicals that it has, and it's so expensive. She's like, it's super easy to make, right? I was like, okay, let's do it. You know, I had never really thought of it. I never really liked that stuff anyway, so I didn't buy it, but I know a lot of my friends and family love that sort of thing and gift it to me. So for me personally, this is a way better option, and it's so much cheaper, right? I also believe that self-care is something that everybody should have access to, not just those that have money, right? So I think about like a massage, a spa, those sort of things are really expensive, but there's a lot of things that you can do at home that are really affordable. One of the things, for instance, that I think in our culture exists a lot is baños. And I didn't realize until recently that you can do a baño without necessarily having to have a tina or a bathtub, right? Because sometimes I'm lazy and I'm like, that sounds good, because my daughter always wants to do her baths, but it's like I have to clean the tub. It takes a lot of water. Then I have to clean it afterwards, and I'm kind of lazy sometimes, but I had a friend who gifted me a beautiful ramo of basil and flowers. And I happened to have some rosemary at home one day, and I was like, well, what do I do with this now? It sat on my table. It looked really beautiful. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it on my shower head. And I don't know where I got the idea. I must have seen it somewhere. And I tied it to my shower head, and you just see like this beautiful bouquet of, you know, herbs and flowers hanging from my shower head. And I took a shower in that, and it was the most wonderful thing ever. It smelled a little bit like Thanksgiving and a roasted chicken, but it was great. I felt so good after I came out of that. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see an image of that, and it's just like, it was heavenly. So didn't require a lot of money, didn't require a lot of resources, and you know, it was easy enough to do. So I think this isn't along those lines as well. And the other way I learned to make some of these products is through my danza community. Every year we host a ceremony, except for these last 2 years. We did them virtually, but when people come to the ceremony, at the end of the ceremony, you usually gift them something as a like recuerdo, right? A little gift of them being there that year. And usually we make things like jams and lip balms, natural products, right? That people can take home with them as a gift for saying thank you for coming for the summer ceremony. So I learned how to make some of these things with them as well. So I just want to give credit where credit is due, because it's important to acknowledge our teachers and where these understandings come from, right? So next, I hope to make lip balms. And I want to make, a friend asked me to make a lotion bar, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I also make like soaps, and I make salves. If you didn't check out the last workshop I did, Tia Chuchas has it on their YouTube channel, and you know, it's their little pomadas like this, but it's not vapor rub, because vapor rub has a lot of petroleum. And I love also the Tiger Balm stuff, but also has petroleum, which isn't good if you think about it, right? So this is much better for you, and you know what has gone in it that is going onto your body, right? Because our skin absorbs everything that we put on it. So I think it's important to be mindful of that. In any case, so I'm curious to know what self-care products this group already knows how to make. So if you know how to make salves, or you know how to make, I don't know, maybe the lip balms, right? What other sort of things do you know how to make? Maybe you make agua florida. I make agua florida too, and that's really wonderful. So is anybody here familiar with any other self-care products? Lip scrubs, yes. This is similar to the lip scrub. I love that. What else do people make? What about, what kind of things would you be interested in learning to make besides what we're going to learn tonight? Is there something that you just love that you're like, it's too expensive, I can't buy this all the time, or it's probably not the best for me? But teas, yes. And teas is a wonderful one, right? Like I think about the yerba buena outside my house, hairsprays, lotion, body scrub. This is a wonderful body scrub. So back to the yerba buena, you know, if you go to the store and you buy a little box of mint tea, well, it's, you know, the mint that is growing in nature, right? Perfume. And you can dry the leaves and put that in your tea, or you can just put the fresh mint in your tea, and man, it looks beautiful and it tastes really great too. So that's another way to do teas. And perfume, there's a really fun one for kids where it's a plant potion basically, and you just grab a bunch of plantitas that are around your house, making sure that they're not plantas that are not good for you, like oleander or something like that, and you ground them up. And it's just kind of for playing, but it's so much fun because I did it with my daughter and it smelled so good for the first 1 or 2 days. After that, I probably wouldn't use it, but anyhow. Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. The first one we're gonna do is the Epsom salt. And if you got your packet at home, get that out now. If not, Epsom salt is pretty easy to find. You can get it out like, you know, any drugstore really. You can get it at Target. You can probably get it at Costco. I got mine at Walgreens, and this is what mine looks like. This is one that's already infused with lavender. And I just got this one because that's what happened, what I happened to pull, or it was on sale that day. But you know, sometimes it doesn't have a fragrance and you could put your own fragrance in it. I kind of like this because then I don't have to deal with essential oils or anything like that. But either way, yay, you have it. Either way, you can use whatever Epsom salt is available to you. And one of the things that I like doing with my Epsom salt is I like putting it in these sort of little jars. So if you have available at the dollar store too, thank you, Mari. If you have mayonnaise jars or these sort of mason jars, save them, don't throw them out, right? Wash them and repurpose them because they're really wonderful to be able to put it in a little glass jar and it stays really, you know, well preserved, I think, in these little glass jars. So that's perfect, Martha. So what I would do then, I have this little tiny one that I'm gonna work with today. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some of my Epsom salt and I'm gonna put about half of whatever container I'm using. I'm gonna put half Epsom salt. So why don't we go ahead and do that now? Sometimes your Epsom salt will need to be broken up too. It's, you know, just like almost like table salt. You don't want to eat it though. And this is really wonderful because it's really relaxing when you bathe in Epsom salt. You only need a little bit of it. No, you won't need Epsom salt for any of the other activities. So, but just put half of it in for now. You'll see why. Everybody got their Epsom salt in there? Mine smells like lavender already. If you have essential oils at home and you want to scent yours with a specific essential oil, now is a good time to do that. If you don't, whatever sort of herbs you put in it will help scent it as well, right? So I have lavender at home that I love utilizing. I buy mine from the San Francisco Herb Company. We're making the Epsom salt bath. And my mom has a lot of lavender in her yard. I bought her a plant from Trader Joe's a few years ago, and I put it in a pot and it just exploded from the pot and planted itself in the ground. Everything is super fertile in California. I feel like you could just throw seed and it pops up. So I use her lavender too. Those who got workshop bags have rose petals. Yes, that's what I was going to show you. So I have rose petals as well. So I'll be using that tonight. And how many drops of oil? If you have oil, it just depends on how fragrant you like things, right? So one time I added the rose petals with the rose oil, and for me personally, it was like too much rose. But my sister loves rose and she didn't think it was too much. So I think it just really depends on you and what your preference is. I also have calendula at home. I haven't done one with calendula yet, but I think I might look into that. So I'm going to put a few rose petals in there, probably about half a tablespoon for mine because it's very small. So you can kind of gauge how much you might want to put of your rose petals, and you can always put more. Sophia, did you have a question?
Yeah, is like this good?
Yeah, mommy, but save that container for your body spray and put the Epsom salt. You can even leave it in the little bag that it was in and just put the rose petals in the Epsom salt bag. Okay, so what I did here is I put my my rose petals in this because I have this container. And then what I'm gonna do, and you can do the same thing in your bag, you're just gonna shake it up, right? To mix it all together. And now you can see that the rose petals are being distributed all throughout that Epsom salt, right? If you're making a large amount, what we do for like the holidays, we have a really big family and I can't afford to buy presents for every single person. But what I do is for everybody, I make this sort of thing. So we usually take out a big giant bowl and we put all of the salt and the herbs in the bowl and we just kind of mix it up with our hands, put a lot of good intentions in there for our family. And then we you know, put a nice little lasso or a little bow on here, and then we gift it like that to our family. So you have a little bit of space left, right? So now you can get more Epsom salt to top it off, right? More Epsom salt to top it off, right? Now I'm gonna leave a little bit of space so that I can put a few more rose petals on the top. So you could imagine that if we had filled up the whole jar with Epsom salt first, then it would be really hard to kind of mix it all together like this, right? But now I have this really beautiful infusion of the rose petals throughout all of the Epsom salt. So that's what it should look like. My suegra loves this, by the way. She's always like, give me some more. I ran out of it. I love taking a bath with it. She has a very physically intense job. So she bathes with it often. It relaxes her muscles and it just feels good. It feels like really pampering yourself. Yeah, exactly. You got it, Sophia. Get all those rose petals integrated throughout there. Does anybody else have any questions about the Epsom salt bath? How many of you are going to take a bath with this tonight? Yeah, so you don't need the whole thing, just, you know, a few scoops of it, right? So I might do like, depending on how much water you have in your tub, I might do like 1/4 cup, you know, and then sit in it, lay in it. And then if you want a little bit more, you can put a little bit more. But then if it gets too salty, you can get like dehydrated, right? So you want to make sure you drink lots of water. I just joined. What's the coconut oil for? We're going to get to that. It's for the sugar scrub. Okay. Can I take a bath with my 1-year-old in Epsom salt? I'm not sure about that. I don't see why not. A foot soak, definitely. I'm thinking about salt, like when you go to the ocean, there's a lot of salt in that water as well, right? So I don't see why there would be anything wrong with that, but you can always ask your pediatrician as well. My daughter loves this, by the way. She loves taking these baños and is just really that kind of kid. She's extra. So the jar is only Epsom salt and rose petals. Exactly. Now, I could, if I wanted to, if I had some rose essential oil, put some essential oil in here. My sister, again, she loves the rose, so I would put that if I was making it for her. For me personally, I like it just like this. It's perfect. And once you take a bath with it, the warm water will help those aromas also come out from the rose, right? Awesome. If I'm making the lavender one, you know, if I have the lavender scented Epsom salt, that helps already also fragrance it more, or I can add more lavender. I love lavender. The essential oils need to be diluted. Yes, yes, absolutely. So I made the mistake one time of, oh my God, my massage therapist used cinnamon when she was giving me a massage, and I was like, oh, that smells so good. I never thought of cinnamon as an essential oil. I always thought of it as like in pan dulce or arroz con leche or a té, right? But never as a massage oil. And she's like, oh yeah, it's wonderful, it's really warming. And then I bought some and I came home and I put it on myself one time, like a little perfume. Oh my God, it burns so much. It burns so much because it's too potent. It's really strong, especially the higher quality essential oil that you get. So you want to be really careful. You want to have a carrier and mix it with something else so that it does not burn your skin in that way, right? Especially for someone that has sensitive skin, test that stuff out before you put that product in anything for yourself. So everyone ready to move on to the next one? Can I get some thumbs up, either virtual or physical? Okay, nice. Anybody have questions before we move on to the next one? Will smell like churros. You're so funny. Yeah, I guess you could smell like a churro. Hopefully the good kind from Olvera Street, right? Or I like Disneyland's too. Oh man. Okay, so let's move on to the next one then. So next we're gonna do the sugar scrub. Somebody asked, what's the coconut oil for? That one's for the sugar scrub. So something that's really neat about coconut oil is that, well, different oils have different properties, right? Do more research on that. You know, avocado oil, coconut oil, grapeseed oil, olive oil, all those are really wonderful oils for your skins for different reasons, right? So I get my coconut oil at Costco, organic, virgin coconut oil. And in the summertime, it's so hot here, it melts. It looks like water. Do you guys see this? I don't know if yours looks like that. So I decided to get this coconut oil and put it in the fridge. Yeah, so yours looks more like a little cube, right? So this is what happens when the coconut oil is not as hot as this one is right here, right? So when summer kicks around, your coconut oil might look like this too, right? So I want to show you both ways to do it because it just depends on what kind of where your coconut oil is and what phase it's in right now, right? So for this particular one, the way I like to do this is if you have your a little baggie, what I like to do, or you could do it within the cup that it's already within. And mine is really hard because I just took it out of the fridge a few hours ago. But what I like to do is I like to put whatever amount I want to make in the little baggie, right? Or you can leave it in the little cup, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. And so for this, you want to put about half of the amount of sugar to coconut oil. All right. You could put a little bit more, a little bit less. It really just depends on how you like your sugar scrub. The other thing is you'll get coconut oil all over yourself. It smells really good. It smells like cocos, right? And you could just rub it on your elbows and your arms. And then, so once you have your coconut oil, then you have sugar that you're gonna add to that, right? I get this big ginormous bag of sugar at Costco. Awesome, you have it there, Sophia, thank you. And so I don't work for Costco. I just go there a lot because it's really affordable, but I like using this sugar. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put about 1/4 cup of sugar in mine, and then I'm gonna seal this so that I don't get the coconut oil escaping. And if you have at home, if you have that little cup that you're working with, you could put a little bit of sugar in that cup and mix it with, you know, a little popsicle stick or a little spoon. But since this one is hard and I have this baggie at home, this is the way I like to mix this one up. It feels really good too against your fingers. So you can see here that the coconut oil and the sugar are mixing together, right? Is our oil, let me see, I didn't catch that one. If our oil is liquid in the little cup, do we need to add sugar to it? Yeah, I'll show you how to do that next, okay? If a friend that is allergic to coconuts, is there anything else we can use? I suppose you could use any oil really, right? So like jojoba oil or olive oil, right? Because any of these oils you can put onto your skin as long as you're not allergic to them. So just kind of experiment what oils you like to work with, and then you know what the properties are to each oil. Do that research. So the thing is though that those oils aren't necessarily going to harden like this coconut oil if you leave it out. Usually in the wintertime my coconut oil looks like this solid form, but in the summertime you saw it gets that liquid form. So let me show you how I do the liquid form. So I have another one of these little containers that I have at home. And you want to make sure that whatever container you're using, that you've cleaned it out really well, because you don't want to have the smell of whatever was in here previously, chiles or, you know, garlic, those sort of things leave a really strong smell. And if you don't clean it out well, either with soap or hot water or vinegar, or all three, depending on how penetrated those aromas are in the glass or whatever material it is you're using, it will kind of seep into your product here, right? So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about, again, half of this jar. I'm going to fill it with some sugar. And I like working with half, because I want to be able to have enough space to add my oil and also swirl that oil around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly incorporate a little bit of the oil at a time. So here I have a little less than half a cup of oil, and I'm going to just start pouring that oil in there, half of that oil that I have in there. And then I'm going to slowly start mixing that oil into the sugar, right? So there's a few ways you can do this depending on how thick your oil is or how thin it is. So if you are using something like olive oil, for instance, this is a really good method for that, right? All right, Jonathan. So now that you have yours, Jonathan, in that little pack, you can either use it straight from the pack, or you could transfer it to a little container like this one, right? I like mine like this. I think I like this consistency. If I didn't, maybe down here it needs a little bit more oil, but I kind of like this. So take a look at this consistency right here. So you want to think about when I go take a shower or a bath, what do I want to be able to utilize to scrub my feet or my arms or my legs, right? If I was going to use this, I would stick my fingers in there or maybe get a little spoon and take it out and just rub it all over my body, rub it everywhere, right? And then you jump in the shower. No jumping actually in the shower, but get into the shower and then you're going to wash it all off. And you'll see when you come out of the shower, your skin is going to be like baby soft. You're going to be brand new. It's so rejuvenating for your skin. I really love utilizing this in the winter time, especially because it gets really, it's really dry out here all the time, but in the winter time with the cold and the, you know, dry desert sort of aridness that we have here, it's like really, really great for my skin. So that's my new one that I made. This is my old one. You can see the consistency here is a little bit thicker. There's more coconut oil in here. Questions about this one? Oh, where am I located? You missed that. I am originally from LA, but I live in Phoenix now. I've been out here for a few years. And so it's really hot here. So my coconut oil, as you saw, is very liquidy because it's so hot, even in my house, even though I have the AC on. So you can see it's super liquidy. Make sure your bath mat is in place. Thank you for mentioning that, Mari. Yes. So the bath will get slippery because it's oil, right? So you really want to be mindful of that. And you know, depending on how much you use and how slippery it gets, you might want to scrub the bath afterwards so that somebody else doesn't have an issue there. All right, folks. Any questions before we move on to the next one? Look at that, Jonathan. Let's see. Oh, look at. That's great. So if you found that yours is too watery.
Smells good.
Yeah, doesn't it smell great? Like churros?
Smells good.
Yeah, you could put yours in the fridge if you want to thicken it up even more, right? Okay, so are we ready to move on to the next one? Oh, look at yours, Camila. Nice job, you guys. Thank you so much for sharing. I love how the kids are so comfortable on the camera. Parents, thank you for allowing them to be on the camera and to share with us. Can you see yourself making more of these, maybe as gifts for Mother's Day or Father's Day? Maybe a birthday. And it doesn't cost much, right? Yeah, this is awesome. Okay. Does anyone need more time before we move on to the next one? Okay, while I wait for a response, I wanted to show you this little pouch that I have. It's like a little tea bag pouch. And one of the things that I did is I put some lavender and some rose in here. And you could put it in your clothes, or, you know, I was telling you that I don't like doing the baño sometimes because it gets all over the tub and I have to clean it. So when I get lazy, I put it in here and then throw it in the baño. So I could put my Epsom salt in here with all the hierbas, and it's gonna like seep out, right? And the water's gonna get through all of this, but it's not necessarily gonna get all over the tub. So this is a nice little hack that I like to use for when I don't wanna have to deal with all the mess after that. So give me some thumbs up if you're ready to move on to the next one. Thank you. Any virtual thumbs up? Awesome. Thank you, Martha, Sandra, Jonathan, Samantha, Griselda, Camila. How are you doing, Belen? Andrea, Mayra, how are you all? Caitlin. Thank you. Okay. So finally is the bath spray or the body spray. So I get these little things at the dollar store, They're two of them come in and they're $1, right? Herbal bath bags versus herbal tea bags. Oh, I'm curious. Tell me more. So they're, if you order them online, if you're gonna do a whole bunch for family, I suggest probably going online and purchasing them there. They're gonna be much cheaper. But if you're just gonna make a few for yourself, then you could just pick them up at the dollar store or, at Target in the travel section. Most sort of drugstores have these type of little spray bottles, or you can get a bigger spray bottle if you want a bigger quantity, right? And I know they sell those at the dollar store as well, the bigger bottle ones. But I like this size because I like to give away a lot of the things that I make. And I like it also because it's easy to fit in my purse. I have them kind of all over the place. I'll have, the agua florida, especially in my car, or I'll have it like in a little closet so that when I come across it, I'm like, And then there are different aromas that I usually make. So you'll need your little bottle that you're going to put your body spray in, and you'll need some water as well. I like to work with distilled water, but you can work with purified water or tap water, whatever sort of water you have access to. This is the distilled water that I have at home. You can buy these also at any grocery store, and it doesn't cost very much. And I use distilled water because, like, when I lived in LA, I remember that the water's really murky and has a lot of particles in it. To me, it doesn't taste as good as the water in the Bay Area where I used to live for a long time. They get their water straight from Yosemite, from Hetch Hetchy, so the water is just really crisp and so good. So if I was using water from the Bay Area, I would probably just use the tap. But out here in Phoenix, our water tastes kind of not that great. So I use distilled water. I don't want chlorine in my water or any sort of other things. So that's why I use distilled water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it into this because it's easier for me to pour into the little, these little things. Or if you have a small funnel at home, you can put a funnel on this to be able to pour all of the liquid in here. So when you pour, you want to pour it in slowly so that the air is able to escape and you don't get sort of bubbles if you're using the funnel. How much water? So we're gonna fill it almost all the way to the top. About so. Almost all the way to the top. Right? And then what I'm gonna do is I have two different things of essential oil here. I have one that is lavender. Like I said, I love the lavender, so I usually make the lavender one. But today, I think I'm gonna try grapefruit because it's summertime and I think it might smell good. So a lot of this is also experimentation, right? I know they sell some orange essential oils and they sell the cinnamon one. I probably wouldn't put that in a spray considering what happened the last time, and I don't want to smell like churro. But I think for me personally, I'm going to use the grapefruit one. So, and how many you put depends on how fragrant you want it, right? So I usually start with like a few drops, like 3 drops, and then I shake it up. Put the drops in there, I shake it up so that it all gets combined together. So you can see now that my water is not as clear. There's some air bubbles in there and some, oh, can you put the rose petals? Yes, the thing is that when you start putting other herbs in here, it could potentially clog, the little tube that it absorbs the water through. So if I put anything in it, I usually put like a sprig of something or one big rose petal leaf. Some people like to put like rose quartz in there and other sort of things like that. So I'm gonna spray it to see if it has enough essential oil for my own personal taste. And you guys can do the same to see if it needs more, right? If it needs less, then add a little bit more water. So let's test it out. Oh yeah, that smells good. Rose oil, yeah. My sister loves the rose oil smell, so I would make her one. with rose oil. This smells really good. Oh yeah. So with the lavender one, I love just spraying it on myself and my face. Since I'm not too familiar with the grapefruit and it's my first time utilizing it, I probably wouldn't put this one on my face, but lavender for me has been safe so far. What sort of essential oils are people putting in theirs? Oh, I love that, Sophia. And you put the rose petals in it. That's so creative. Look at how nice that looks, huh? What sort of essential oil did you put in yours? Thumbs up if you put lavender. Patchouli, yes, I love patchouli. Yes, Jonathan. I love Tunisian myrrh too. That's one of my favorite smells. Lavender. Orange oil. I love the orange oil too. The orange oil is nice in the scrub too. Jasmine oil. Yeah, so you can basically take whatever oil is, essential oil is available to you, or whatever your favorite is. Okay, so the water bottle steps, we're gonna go through it one more time. You're going to take your container and put the water in there almost all the way to the top, but leave some space, okay? Let's see if you can see that. Leave some space. Ooh, I like it. Very cool, Jonathan. So this one, I'm gonna make it with lavender. And I really love lavender, so I think I'm gonna go with 4 or 5 drops. Okay. And that smells so good. Shake it up. And then test it out. This is the fun part. Oh yeah. That smells so good. The other thing is, this is nice to freshen up your room. Where do you get the dry roses from? Can we put lemon and rose? Yeah, I don't see why not. I think you can start kind of making your own combinations of what goes well together that you really like. I know some people do like the patchouli and the orange. That combo smells really good to me personally. You can do rose and lavender. Some people like vanilla. I personally like this lavender one to like spray my room. Sometimes, you know, even though I wash the sheets and change everything, there's like a damp, funky smell in here. So that's really nice. I prefer utilizing that than like a aerosol spray that I'm going to put all over my house that I don't know what chemicals are in it. I rather go around the house utilizing this, right? So my grapefruit one, and then my lavender one. And again, like, I love that some of you started putting in the little sprigs of rose or maybe a sprig of lavender. It makes it extra fancy and special. So what questions do you all have? ¿Qué preguntas tenemos? How about, what did you enjoy most of today's presentation? Oh yeah, dry roses. So everything. Thank you, Sylvia. I got these from Desert Sage Herb Company out here in Phoenix, but you guys probably have your own sources near you. So sometimes Yerverias, those sort of places. If anybody is on the call today from Sylmar and has a place that you particularly like going to, please put it in the chat for everybody. Mari said, fresh hibiscus flowers, squeeze or mash by hand with water. Its natural oil comes out, then that would work too. Oh, I love that. I love that. I also use bougainvillea in like agua floridas. I might try it with this, although it doesn't really have a very strong smell. Sugar. Jonathan, what's your question about sugar?
No, my favorite part was the part where we put in sugar.
Yeah, it's fun, huh?
I
Kinda
like
squishing
sugar.
it. Don't eat this one though. It's for taking a bath. I suppose you could, but you probably shouldn't. What exactly is agua florida? Oh, that's a great question. So agua florida is flower water is what it translates to in English. And it's basically an alcohol infused floral extract. So you can put any flowers in it. You can even put cinnamon sticks in it. You can put flowers that are good for you. I wouldn't use like oleander and things that are poisonous. Um, you can put like citrus peels in it. You can put rosemary, mint, really whatever you have available to you that's fragrant that you like. And then you let it sit in the alcohol for a period of time, and then you strain it. And when you strain it, depending on what sort of plants you utilize, the color will be a little bit darker. And we use it a lot in Danza Azteca, at least in my group. And I think probably the Catholic Church uses it as well. They might sell like agua florida prepackaged sort of thing. Yes, you can use rubbing alcohol, or you can use like Everclear vodka. There's different ways to do it. I know that people use like I think it's like a caña rubbing alcohol or something like that, but there's a lot of ways to do it. So hopefully we'll do a workshop on that next time. Anybody else want to share what their favorite part of this workshop was? We know Jonathan likes the sugar. Yes. Sugar, vanilla, oil, cinnamon makes good scent. Good to know. Thank you for sharing your recipes. If anybody else has recipes there that they would like to share, can be fun for kids. And then the other thing is you can save this chat, I believe, if you click on the 3 little dots to the right of the chat, so that you can take some of this down if you're not writing it down. Thank you, Sandra. Well, this just about wraps it up for me, folks, today. This is the final workshop that they have at Tia Chucha's for this wonderful celebration of literacy and reading. And I encourage you all to continue to do this sort of thing for yourself. Go tonight and take a bath in, this Epsom salt, or scrub yourself with all of this wonderful, don't use all of it, you probably need a little bit, but some of this wonderful sugar scrub. And let me know how you feel. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is Shara Nieto, and it's in the photo of the Instagram post that Tia Chucha's put up. I'd love to hear how it went for you, and maybe some other things that you might be interested in learning, so we can learn together and share this with other people too. Don't just make it for everybody else, but also teach them how to make it as well. Maybe the next birthday party you have, do a self-care birthday party theme, or the next sort of comadreada you have, do something like that for your friends, right? So that we can continue to pass this sort of stuff on to one another, to be able to take care of ourselves, to take care of each other, because so often we don't. And that's when burnout happens. That's when burnout happens with our parents, with our abuelitas, our activists, our teachers, and we need all of that good energy to be able to do the wonderful work that we're doing. So thank you again. And yes, tell your little cousin. So with that, I pass it over to you, Lisa, for any other closing remarks.
Thank you so much. Awesome. So before everybody heads out, I do want to let you know there is a quick survey for all of you to take. At the end of that survey, you will be getting a 15% discount to the bookstore that you can use online. I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys. And thank you again for joining all of us. We really appreciate it. I hope to see some of you tomorrow at the book giveaway. No, don't forget, it'll be from 11 to 4 or 11 to 3, I believe, at the Vonji 3 Academy.
Thank you all for joining. Sophia, Citlali, Amethyst. Thank you for your participation. Jonathan, Sandra, gracias. Hope to see you soon tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.